Today I'm taking a look at the Firecore green beam laser level with tripod. So we got our instructions. We got our tripod head. It does have a quick release plate, and we got a spirit level on there, so we know if this thing is going to be straight. One thing that this one has is it has a little lever right here, so we can press this red button, pop that guy up. So if you want to use a camera to get nice portrait shots, we can actually do that. We got our tilt handle, but this also loosens up so that we can rotate it up and down. We spin it to the right, that'll lock it so that it becomes stiff. So here's our tripod. It is a latch style, which is great for doing anything very quickly. And it has 3 different extensions on it, so that makes for a fairly long tripod. But one of the really cool things about this one is this little lever right there. So if we loosen this nut, we can then spin this guy, and that'll help us to get a nice fine-tuned height. With a laser level, that can be very important because trying to get something to push up, especially if you have to adjust all 3 legs, getting that exact height can be kind of difficult. This mechanism makes it a lot easier to get that very specific height. So I'm just going to spin onto that. Now it does also appear that the head can spin. If we want to lock that down, we just lock this nut and that will make it a lot more stiff. I also like the nice rubber feet that they put on the bottom. And if you have these legs extended, you want to add a little weight, they do have a hook right there where you can put a weight bag on. We got instructions for the laser level. And here is the laser level. So you can see this is a 3-line. So we got left and right, forward and back, and horizontal. Okay, it looks like it's already charged. So this is our on-off switch. And if we get that flat, we'll get a nice solid line. It comes with an extra battery, which is excellent. So this actually has 2 batteries. So if you need to run this thing for a long time, that is not going to be a problem. And that is a 4 amp hour at 3.7 volts. We got a charging cable, it's USB-A to USB-C. We have a wall attachment, so if we don't want to use the tripod, we can use this. We just thread the laser level into there. Then we can either use magnets to attach it to a metal wall, or we can knock some nails in, and we do have some nice rubber padding on here to make sure that we don't damage the wall. And last up, it actually came with a remote, and it says that it uses CR2032 battery. I do like that it has a little thumb nut on there, so we don't have to carry a screwdriver with us. And we just pull the lever back and drop that guy in. So one thing that's nice to see is that even with the lights on in the room, you can still see that laser very easily. So I'm going to spin this guy up and try to match those screw heads. So with that, we can make sure that we got those screw heads in line. For any common installation, especially for shelves or anything like this, a laser level really is the only way to go. So much easier than a level, because the level, you got to hold that thing up with your hands while you're holding the shelf and the brackets and all the tools for drilling. The laser level like this, it's got everything right there. It is literally just light. And if I rotate this, turn on vertical, now I can line up the screw holes top to bottom as well. So that way, you know, if you already got a stud lined up and you're sure it's there, you can pretty much use that laser to find the top and bottom as long as it's not warped. Also great for if you're going to be installing things like towel racks, where you want to make sure that it is up and down, left and right, all perfect 90s. And of course, if we hit this a couple of times, we can turn on all 3 lasers. So we can spin that around. You can see we got a couple of different lines. And then besides that, we also have brightness adjust. So this is brightest, medium, low. A little hard to see in camera, but it's a lot easier to see if you're actually looking at it with your eyes. You can kind of see it on my thumb there, but there is a big difference to the eye. Now, if we were to take this and rotate it to a point where it can no longer level, you can see it's flashing like that. But what if we want to have an angle that is slightly off? We can do this. We can shut this guy off, and if we press and hold the light button for 3 seconds, it will force it on. That way you can see we got a crooked angle, so if we want to measure something like a staircase or just anything where we want to have a straight line, but we also don't want it to be perfectly flat, this is a great way of doing that. So if you're working outside during the day and you need to see the laser a very long ways away, the farther that laser has to go, the dimmer it's going to be. So you can get a receiver, and the receiver will just pick up that laser and tell you where it's at. So if you get a receiver, you can put it in pulse mode, and the receiver will be able to pick that up. So the last thing is I just want to make sure that the remote works. So horizontal, vertical, and brightness. Very cool. So that way, for hanging something you want to go put on the wall, you want to see what it'll look like without the laser lines on it, you can do that, turn these things off, and you don't have to worry about jostling the laser level, so you can make sure when you turn it back on, it's going to be right where you had it when you started. So always nice having a remote with your laser level. So yeah, it's got a lot of features. We got the nice bright lasers on here. We got 3 of them, which is excellent. So if you need to line up anything, no matter which angle it's at, you can do that. I love the fact that it actually comes with a tripod, so I have to supply something for it. With the different brightnesses, the manual mode, the pulse mode, and the remote, this makes this a very functional laser. So I'm happy with that.